Hello, hockey fanatics and old friends. I'm Hawkeye, and I thank you for joining me today. Before I know I'm late, but this is before the second game the Leafs play to begin the 2025-26 NHL season. And I'm going to give you a little rundown, perhaps, and my thoughts. Um, How about the upcoming season for the Toronto Maple Leafs? So far, they're 1-0. They beat the Montreal Canadiens 5-2. I didn't see much of the game. Part of the reason why I'm slow getting to this, there's a lot going on. But also, my Toronto Blue Jays are in the playoffs and have eliminated the New York Yankees. Sorry to any Yankee fans out there. That is amazing news for me, a Blue Jays fan. We're on to the ALCS, and as of right now, I'm not sure who they are going to play. Um, this is actually Friday night, but they're going to start that on Sunday night, so that's great for me. Um, but I did see the third goal in the game-winning goal from Morgan Riley. It was a good one as he pinched in. Lane Hudson had no stick, so it was a good read for Riley. And reading that coming in and popping in the third goal for the Leafs, they won 5-2. But yeah, I'm going to go through that and just to get it out of the way here early so I don't forget. If you like this video, I'd appreciate it. You could hit the thumbs up, hit like. You could subscribe as well to any newcomers out there, or if you want to subscribe. I got a lot of stuff on here. It's about the Toronto Maple Leafs generally, not always. I can talk about other teams in the NHL, but I going through time until present day. Why the Toronto Maple Leafs have not won a Stanley Cup since 1967. And if you want to comment on anything, go ahead and do so. That would be great. I'd love to talk some hockey. So, first off, or next up, the calendar behind me. Not sure if anybody's got the same one at home. It's for October. Um, it's supposed to be Jake McCabe, as it says, but that is Simon Benoit. So they got the wrong guy with the wrong name. Oops, that's an official calendar there too. But anyways, and I also got a pumpkin over here. So if you know me or know of my other channel, that's Hawkeye's House of Horrors. You know I love Halloween. Um, One of my favorite times of the year. So I got a pumpkin in here. Celebrate October as I go along. Talk about some hockey. So that'll be great. So yeah, we're going to talk about the 2025-26 Toronto Maple Leafs. And what's different this year? Um, a little bit. They got eliminated in the second round last year. Some people would say, oh, they were oh so close. Uh, but it was very disappointing to me as I saw a couple of games in that round where literally I haven't seen the Leafs look so lackluster in the playoffs in a very, very long time. Um, but the we'll talk about the changes here first off. So let's talk about the elephant in the room, or the elephant that left the room, and that would be Mitchell Marner. He decided to leave the Leafs, not re-sign in Toronto. He decided to go with the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Quite a team, so good pick by him. In my eyes, they're one of the favorites. I also like the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know if that's really eye-opening for anyone, but those are two strong-looking teams to me in the early going for the NHL. Now, um, it's going to be tough. The Leafs will miss Mitch Marner, but please remember they're putting together a different team at this point. They replaced Mitch Marner with some other guys who aren't Mitch Marner, right? Now, definitely one reason why they're going to miss him is he was their number one score uh, point scorer last year. He grabbed 27 goals with 75 assists for 102 points. The first time he's reached 100 points. Good job there, Mitch. And he's on a very short list of only three Toronto Maple Leafs that have ever had 70 assists in the same season. The other two were Daryl Sittler. He had 72 back in 1977, 78, and Doug Gilmore. Dougie did it twice. He back-to-back seasons, and he leads all time Leafs in assists in a season. He had 95 back in 1992, 93, and it was the following season he had up the top of my head like 84 or something like that. But anyways, there's only three all time that have done this for the Leafs, and Marner was one of them. Now, in saying this, for me, the Leafs, they absolutely have done this. The fans, you need to do this too, no matter what, because it doesn't matter. Marner is not coming back to Toronto at this point. I'll say it. I'll say that. Um, what you need to do is forget about Mitch Marner, and it'll be really hard if the media keep talking about him in Toronto. They need to stop doing that too. Marner is now in Las Vegas. He is out of Toronto. And if things colossally fail in Toronto due to Marner not being here, um, okay, we'll deal with it. I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Leafs are still on their way to the playoffs. Um, no problem there, in my opinion. I think they're going to be okay. So, and another reason why that may be hard to do is if he follows the path that Phil Kessel and Nazem Kadri had done in holding the Stanley Cup high not long after leaving Toronto. Um, but hey, as I said, this is a different team. So we need to forget about Mitch Marner. I'm not even going to get into mudslinging, if you will, of reasons why he's not coming back and reasons why he didn't want to leave Toronto at a trade deadline. Whatever. That happened then. That happened. This is where we are now. So we need to, at this point, move on from Mitch Marner and with this team that you have at this point. So here we go. Um, Now, we can take a look at the team that they have going on here with this roster. So we'll start off with the goalies in Toronto. And, well, why don't we start off with Anthony Stolarz? To me, in my opinion, he is the number one guy. He would be my number one goalie. But I could see why, when Wall is back, more on him in a little bit here, I could see how they could be 1A, 1B, right? Um, because Stolarz every year gets hurt. And unfortunately, that, well, makes me think we are on that path and he may get hurt again this season at some point, sorry. But I'm glad they signed him to a 4-year deal as it is at a nice price. Reason why? Because he gets hurt every year. Um, his track record has not shown, um, well, being able to play an entire season with, like, let's say 60 games, something like that. That is not in his track record. So the Leafs were able to get him at a very good rate, I think. So I like that. I really, really do like Stolarz in the net. Um, I really do. Now, so Wall, he's left on a personal leave. So personally, I'm not sure unless news has come out. I'm not sure when he's going to return to the team. Um, but like Stolar's, Wall also gets hurt every year as well. So unfortunately, maybe that'll happen to him this year. He's not with the team to start with, so maybe we're lucky and it won't. Maybe we'll be lucky on that front. But in him not starting the season with the Leafs, from my memory, I don't think he played much, if at all, in the preseason. And that is more of a troubling question mark to me. I know every goalie's different, and Wall, he's his own guy. But I do remember Swayman last year in Boston not playing in the preseason, and he went on to have a subpar year. And the Bruins did not make the playoffs, and no one, it seems like, is expecting them to make the playoffs this year. People I talk to. But if Swayman has a heck of a year, watch out. The Bruins may make some noise and maybe right in the run again this year. Um, who knows? But that's what I remember with Swayman. So my question is the same thing going to happen to Wall, or will it take Wall a couple of games to get back in the rhythm? And I'm totally fine with that, and totally understandable as to why that would happen. Is that what's going to happen to Wall, and then he gets into the rhythm, or is he going to walk in and or skate in and everything's fine? Wall is just playing normal Wall self, regular season Wall. We're gonna find out. But to me, that seems very difficult for a goalie to just step in my opinion, without any reps in the preseason, no work, just step in the regular season and be great right from the get-go. It's much like in baseball, without getting those at bats in preseason to get your cuts at the ball, to get your reps at the plate. It's tough to come into the season in May or June or July or whatever and be right good as everybody else right off the bench. That's extremely difficult to do, but we're going to find out. So now the Leafs had James Reimer back in the preseason, and I saw the last game they played against the Detroit Red Wings. I liked it because I was able to see Reimer in the net again for the Leafs. Some may not like that. I always liked Reimer. Yeah, it was a bad way out at Toronto. I know they lost. They were up 4-1 against the Bruins and lost it with, what was that, 7.5 minutes left in the game. He was in the net, but he was playing part of the game or the second half of that game against the Detroit Red Wings. They ended up losing in overtime. Um, I was kind of wondering what year is it? Reimer's in net for Toronto. But they cut him. He's not with the Leafs. So the Leafs went out and grabbed Caden Primo off the waiver wire from the Carolina Hurricanes to be the backup to Stolars until Wall returns. Now, I guess when Wall does return to the Leafs, they will need to put Primo back on the waivers to send him to the minors, to the Marlies. Um, if they want to keep him, um, in order to do so, but I don't know when that'll be. Um, yeah. But I am expecting Stolars to get a majority of the playing time here until Wall shows back up. That's my guess. But in my opinion, Primo should be given a shot in the net at some point. Um, maybe next week. I feel bad. I should have looked at the schedule. I don't know how many games they play next week. I They play three. Maybe there's a game you can put him in there if there's a back to back somewhere. Uh, maybe. Um, I know they play in Detroit on Monday. I don't know. He's from that area. Maybe that'd be good for him. I don't know. Um, but hopefully he gets a shot in the net. See what he can do. Um, yeah, at this point, Primo did not play so great last year for the Montreal Canadiens. He grabbed 2 wins in 11 games that he played. He had an 836 save percentage and a 4.70 goals against average. That was never very good. Um, so last year was not very good for Caden. And hopefully for the Leafs and himself, he can rebound very well and play much better for the Leafs this year. And I think he's 26 years of age as well. So he's not young, not super young. He should be, ready to go here, but he's not also like Reimer's age. He's not an old guy in the net. So there you go. Now on defense, there are no changes made since postseason last year. Does that shock me a little bit? They got into the second round. Um, Now I must admit, sometimes it's good to stay behind what you believe in. Because if you truly do believe in that, give it another shot. That's kind of been the MO of the Toronto Maple Leafs in the playoffs, if I might add. But hey, this is a different group of guys than some of those old stories. Some of them are the same, though. Oh, sorry, Riley. But hey, I do believe that though. If you really do believe in them, like wholeheartedly, and really think, hey, this group can do it, stick behind them again, and see if they can do it a second time around. They were able to get out of the first round. Okay, great. Um, let's see what they can do this year. But personally, I do like Chris Tanev. I like Jake McCabe, Benoit. There really isn't anybody on the defense I don't like. Um, I really do think Riley's been there quite a while now, but hey, he had a good opening game. He had a goal and an assist. As I said, I liked him on that goal where he pinched in, got the goal. Maybe he'll have a turnaround season this year or more offense in his game, perhaps. Um, I also like more defense too. Um, but um, but yeah, I don't really dislike anybody back there, or I'm like slam my hand on the table and say, "Hey, this guy, he's got to go." No way. Now, up front with Marner gone, there are some additions here. The big ones being Dakota Joshua, who I liked in the very little I did see of him when he played with the Vancouver Canucks. Matthias Maselli, who I need to see us just a little bit of him. He looks like he can dish a puck. He looks good there. Nicholas Roy, who I need to see more of. I did see a little bit of him. I think. Um, did he play in Tampa as well? I'm trying to remember this. Sorry, guys, but yeah, I did like what I saw out of him. Um, I didn't see a whole lot of him last year though. But the thing is, um, a couple of these guys for sure, maybe more akin to be playing maybe the Craig Berube style of hockey of crashing, hitting the guy with the puck, hammering them into the boards. We got a couple of physical guys there. So maybe that'll work in Toronto, getting players like that. Now, the big final ad is Easton Cowan, who I was ready to stand up on my little soapbox and tell everyone it's okay that he's going to the minors. Just take a deep breath. You might see him later this year. It's okay. Let him grow. Let him get those big minutes in the minors. Let him play on the first or the second line. It's okay. And then I hear, no, wait, they call him up. And yes, he's going to be up in the press box. Okay. Um, Let me pull my head off here and rethink what I was going to say. I don't know. Hopefully, he gets enough playing time and is able to grow in the third or fourth line role, unless they slap him up in the top six, just like that. Which I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen. This is Craig Berube. I don't think that's going to happen. Um, But personally, I was fine with him going to the minors. It's not like a long-term plan for this guy. He was a high draft pick there. He's in their future. But hey, these guys, they got a game plan, so let them go with it. Cowan's going to be playing. I expect is he maybe he's going to be playing this Saturday against the Red Wings. So there you go. Now, for goals this season with the Leafs, I'm expecting both Matthews and Nylander to get 40 goals apiece, just 40. Um, I'm also expecting Matthew Nyes, who I really grew to enjoy last year. He might have been my favorite Leaf at the end of the year. Um, I'm looking for him to improve and grab 35 goals. I think he had 29 last year for a guy, the way he plays. As long as he stays healthy, in my opinion, that's not much of a jump. And I think he can do it. I really do. And Tavares to maybe get anywhere from 25 to 30 goals. Now, the big question for me is Bobby McMahon. Can Bobby score 30 goals this season? I think he got one on opening night. Good for you. Excellent. What do you think? Do you think Bobby can get 30? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. Can he improve? Absolutely. Absolutely, he can. Um, but it was in the playoffs last year where um, it was sort of like, in my opinion, he kind of disappeared from the game. And I'm sure it's not because he wasn't trying, but it was, um, he would just, he wouldn't have the puck or wouldn't be in the play. And I don't know, that's where the question mark for me comes from. And maybe that was a great learning experience for Bobby. And he's using that as fire. And he's going to make a big jump this year and put in 30 goals. I think he's starting off on the second line with Tavares, with Nylander. Those are great line mates to play with if you're going to put the puck in the net. So we're going to see. But it's a bit of a question for me. Bit of a question. Um, so when adding all that up, that is 155 goals right there from just five players in my mind. Um, so what they need to get is 112 more from the rest of the players on the team, and you would have the amount of goals that you had last year. What do you think? Can they do that? Can they do that? Can Cowan get 15 goals? Can Robertson get 15 goals? Um, can Domi get 10? Sorry, guys, he hasn't done that in a season yet for the Leafs. But if so there's 40 goals from three guys. What do you think? Can they do that? Or, you know, maybe they don't need to score as many goals and maybe play better defensive hockey. Not that they were bad last year, because Stolarz led the league last year in save percentage. So maybe it's okay that they don't score as many goals. Um, I think it is. But there you go. So who's going to finish first in the Atlantic this season? I have no idea. There's a good answer. Um, but I'm going to say don't be surprised if it's the Toronto Maple Leafs that end up first again. I look at Florida. Before the preseason, I was like, man, they're going to take the Atlantic this year. But then I hear Kachuk's out till Christmas. Barkov, then, he's out for the entire season. Those are two major players. Now, I'm not going to make the bold statement the Panthers aren't making the playoffs. They are. They're going to have a good position. They're not going to be in a wild card. They're going to be in the top three somewhere there. Um, but they're going to miss those two players. Definitely Barkov because it sounds like he's not going to be there all year. Um, so there you go. Um, and the Montreal Canadiens and Ottawa Senators made massive improvements last year and made the playoffs. Are they going to continue to do so? Um, the Bruins were out last year. Swayman didn't play so great. Um, the Red Wings were still out last year. When it looked like they were making a push. Okay, they're going to do it. Didn't do it. And the Buffalo Sabres, sorry to Sabre fans, but they're playing like the Buffalo Sabres. Um, they're just not getting it done. They got one great line there, but they're just can't claw their way into getting close to the playoffs. So is that going to repeat for Buffalo? Or are they going to surprise everybody and make a run for it? So I don't know. I'm I'm gonna say after saying all that, the Leafs are gonna win the Atlantic. Oh boy. Boy. I'm not guaranteeing that. Never guarantee that. But don't be surprised if they win it. I'll say that. So there you go. That's the 2025-26 Toronto Maple Leafs. This is going to be a good year. Um, it's going to be good. I hope they play even more into Craig Berube's style. I really liked it. It was definitely different than Sheldon Keefe's style. But the Keefe style was very successful as well in the regular season. Um, so we'll see what happens here. And until next time, hey guys, enjoy your hockey.